Welcome back, Noble Heroes. Thank you for returning to Mythia. As we just passed our 100th episode, we are unfortunately going to have to announce that Tyler has removed himself permanently from the campaign. So Roland will have a change of fate, perhaps, coming up very soon. Unfortunate, but it couldn't be helped. We wish him luck in his future endeavors, of course, Tyler, and we will continue stolidly forward to complete the quest. If you are enjoying our content, please give us a like and a subscribe. We really appreciate it. And don't forget to try this at home. We begin in Giran, but elsewhere from our players. The sound of fist on flesh could be heard down the row of cells. The grunts of pain that followed each hit seemed to change voice with each exclamation. After nearly 10 minutes, the paladins were tired. The first stepped out of the cell and reached down to grab a towel off the stool while the other one locked the cage again. You think it went too hard on him? The second said, smiling as he looked on without pity at Pitt, slumped over and bound to the walls by strong manacles, his hands locked in an intricate contraption which cramped his fingers back to prevent spellcraft. No, that piece of shit killed my niece in Bridgewalk. If anything, we should have broken his neck. Besides, he'll be healed by before morning. Let him stew in a little pain for a night. The cell door slammed home. The noise of grieved footsteps grew distant. Are you all right? Pitt asked. Piercy spit up blood. I'll live. His voice was haggard and exhausted. He hadn't gotten enough sleep. It's not the gleaming diamond, is it? Pitt asked, referencing a luxury hotel they had once stayed at long ago. Piercy sputtered a small laugh. No. Are you all right? The human whispered. Oh, I have taken more damage in my time than fists can provide. Pitt hesitated. I can't do it, boy. I can't give up everything that I've stood for eons just to survive. Piercy lowered their head. Why did it choose me then, if I have no say in the matter? His voice was bitter and angry. Pitt was taken aback with this level of emotion from his partner. Piercy was normally very calm and optimistic, but he felt their hands tense, causing their cramped muscles to ache in the restraints. I don't know if fate mindfully chooses anything, but if it does, it chose correctly this time. The words were tender. Piercy felt like Pitt was more his father than his real father was. The thought made him choke out ironic laughter. What's so funny? Pitt asked. When you first spoke, you said you weren't capable of caring for anyone, Piercy said, smiling ruefully. You lied. The two sat in silence for several minutes. I'm sorry, Pitt said finally. They really wanted us to join with them. Do you think? As Piercy responded, a sudden flash of knowledge passed between them, and Pitt was suddenly out, red eyes staring at the door. Come in, he said with a hint of threat in his voice. A shadow passed through the door, ignoring the wards and locks. Dominus. Both sets of eyes locked. The angel of darkness stood like a black statue, carved beautifully in the image of a stoic hero, until the flesh rippled like ink. I had to see myself. Once the world's most gifted man I knew, said to hold the very world in his palm. Now look how far you've fallen, old friend. So the news spreads. I didn't think my cap shot warranted your renewed attention after all these years. The ink spread into a smile. It hasn't. I'm talking about Piercy. The two stared for a moment. Then they laughed. What do you want, Dominus? Piercy said, chuckling. It wasn't a lie, Piercy. Let me take you out of here, the Dark Angel said, suddenly looking serious. Why would you do that? Piercy asked. Despite what you say, we were never very close. Oh, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Dominus started matter-of-factly. You still have things to accomplish in this world. The angel reached out his hand, very close to Piercy's shackled one, waiting to see if he accepted the offer. Pitt took over. Why are you here? The wizard asked suspiciously. In Garen. Dambleth wants a godmother killed, Dominus said. Juniper? Piercy burst out. You know her, Dominus questioned. Dominus, you can't kill her. She's the only one that fate might be able to fix it. Excuse me. She's the only chance that fate might get fixed. Pitt finished. Dominus's eyes narrowed at the sudden shift. Pitt stared him down, daring him to ask. You believe in that rumor? The angel finally asked. I do, Pitt said. So do the kings, apparently. They've called for a summit. Dominus stood. Apparently, your father is going to be there. Piercy's eyes widened. Then so did Pitt's, as the violet covered their body. Jossie is coming here! The venom in his voice was deadly. Yes, Dominus said. But even with his powerful senses, the angel had no idea what was happening inside of Piercy's mind. The two entities that shared his body were in a debate. We have to get out of here so we can stop Dominus and get the godmother to save you, Piercy said. No. If we escape, the summit will be cancelled. If I'm responsible for Jossia's death, I will be happy to perish, Pitt spat. How would we kill him from inside this cage? Piercy asked incredulously. And even if we were able to do something, he has Operation Glass Crown, he reminded the other. He is finally outside of his wards. He can be infected with something, which will have time to gestate before he returns to his palace. Pitt looked at the worry in Piercy's eyes. He knew the boy wanted him to live more than he wanted to kill Jossia. I can't finish him without you, he said desperately. You can, and you will, Pitt said, resolute. They came back to their senses with Dominus waiting, his hand outstretched. Pitt lightly touched his hand, seemingly as a gesture to push it back, but in actuality he fused a bit of plague-infected sweat with Dominus's darkness, a perfect cold incubator. Go. We have a plan, and it does not involve you, Pitt stated flatly. The hand held out for several more seconds, and for a moment, Pitt worried that Dominus had figured out what they had done. But slowly the Dark Angel turned about and passed through the door. They both waited for a long time, long enough for Dominus to leave the jail entirely. Are you all right? Pitt asked. I'll live, Piercy said. What went unspoken between them was that he no longer believed that Pitt would. Hero, Isaac, and Brongborn. Femi and her crew. Juniper. Walks No Roads and Clover. All of you finally, it seems a long time in coming, meet to discuss what has happened. Where are you?
More likely than not, we're probably in the academy.
Okay.
The office that you're borrowing.
Yes. Well, I actually am borrowing that office. It's not my office. My office looks way cooler. It'd be weird if we were in my real office.
Euphemia, as you took Leslie to her home, when you arrived, her mother looked out surprised at the three of you, and Bali turned towards you Isn't it time for your meeting? She says.
Shit.
Leslie's going to look over. It's never ending, isn't it? She says.
I hate politics.
Her mother's going to look towards you. Thank you. I can't tell you how frustrating it was to be stuck behind that doctor, she says. Now we can finally get her healed. She's going to put her hand on Leslie. She seems a very motherly figure. She's going to draw Leslie inside, and Leslie's going to make a misstep on the stair and sort of fall into her mother, who's going to help her pick her up and sort of brush her off. It's going to take me a little bit to cook a good meal. Maybe if your meeting runs short, you can come on back and join us, she says.
I'm never one to turn down good food. She reaches forward and puts her hand on Leslie's arm. Be well.
She nods. She says, I soon will. Bolly's going to nod towards you, and then, oh, I should probably come too, she says.
I think you definitely need to come too. We need to decide how we're going to plan this out. And the Outrunner's an integral part of this.
Roll a d20, please.
15.
All right. You arrive and find Isaac and Juniper.
June probably won't be there right now. She probably asked one of her secretaries or one of the other godmothers or whatnot to gather everybody in a secured meeting room, and she'd be there.
Where's Juniper? Hira's going to ask when you guys have both arrived and you've been waiting for a couple minutes.
She's not here yet?
He's going to look out at the secretarial assistant who has asked you all to sort of wait here, that she's going to be here very soon. He goes, no, I was hoping to talk with her, he says. He seems anxious.
You okay?
Yeah, it's nothing big.
She narrows her eyes like, you've not always been truthful with us about that before.
He goes, it's really not this time.
All right.
Did you wind up beating Fayleen's record?
No. I'm afraid she still has her time on me. Someday, if I'm creative enough, I'll beat it.
Yeah, you will, Hiro says. Prongor is behind you with a collection of letters, which he is opening with a penknife, using his smaller hand, and carefully kind of going over them. He pulls out a pair of spectacles. He says, Master, it appears as though the work is done.
I do want to do those repairs, by the way, now that I've checked my stuff.
Okay.
Isaac will gesture for him to hand him the letter he's reading.
All right, he says, this one appears to be from the blacksmith master about my shield. This one is from the engineers about the robots. And this one, he's going to cut it open, is from the questor's chest. What's this about? He says. As he pulls it open, he's going to say, I think perhaps you should read this one, Master. He says, handing it to you.
Okay. Isaac gives him back the other two and then takes that one and starts reading it.
All right. As you read it, it is going to specify that it is the very helpful shopkeep from the questor's chest, the one with the glass eye. She has written you because she noticed that you, quote-unquote, were struggling to find good help last time.
Fate was against me.
Mr. Rolled a 1.
Yeah. Rolled a 1 to look through a indexed book of... Like, how do you mess that up?
You were distracted. Come on, there were a lot of people
Apparently.
out for your head right then, and somebody just tried to take your head off earlier.
Makes sense.
Or kidnap you. They didn't really take your head off. But you know what I mean.
That's a good excuse.
I know, they might have wanted to kill you. They seemed kind of mean.
So she has taken the time outside of work in order to find appropriate leveled heroes for work that you may be doing, and has sent them along to help you. She has sent a selection of 3 qualified applicants
Ooh.
One, a human woman with magical powers, additional to knowing the way of the sword. Her name is Sheris Bean. Cheris. Her last name is Bein.
Bien.
She is known as the Cerulean Buckler.
That is the coolest hero name I've heard all campaign so far.
She has powers similar to Leslie's. She's able to wield a magical infused power of the light of heaven to create shields almost exclusively. It's less versatile than Leslie's power, but is stronger defensively. She is what you would think of as a nobly bented mercenary. Apparently, she has great need of money in her family for an ailment, and is willing to do dangerous work on that effect. She has pretty even stats as far as you can tell, but she is able to share her very powerful toughness with allies. The next one is Doric the Mountain.
Spell it.
Dreikk. A male dwarf, a paladin born in Giran. He is extremely old, but his fate gives him an unusually long-lasting life. He is known to be able to turn his skin into stone and is infused with elemental magic. He actually seems willing to aid your cause for free, merely because he is a old man and, by the quote, looking to die with honor. However, an injury on the job will kill him.
Okay. An injury will kill him on the job?
Very likely.
Okay.
He has to roll a high toughness check to survive.
So you'd be sending him to his death?
I mean, we could work around that. It doesn't have to be that way.
And the last one is Jabra Anak, the ancestor's voice.
Spell it.
Javra Anoch. A female half-elf bard. She comes from a very prestigious lineage here in Giran. And her and her family go back a very long way, like thousands of years in the city's history. Sort of like the Light Wardens, but less well known. The Anoks are able to sing an ancestral song that calls the souls of their ancestors to aid them in battle. So the ghosts of their ancestors come and help them out. They wear special emblems, like shields and necklaces and stuff, that contain the stored souls of their ancestors.
I'm sorry. I'm just comparing it to something in my head and it's funny.
One thing that you do note is that all of these heroes, because they're not like Harper tier, if they do become injured, all of them have a chance to die.
Okay.
Not everybody can be Harper.
Oh, and I may have asked this last time, but Zarfan's off our roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay.
We're all sorry about that.
And for a completely different reason.
Yep.
It's like, I had plans! Plans, I tell you,
I did have
plans!
Sure, don't forget that.
By the way, I did send a message to Roland with a coin. Have you guys heard from him?
Who's speaking?
Hero.
Hero. I like Hero's voice. Can't recognize Hero. Jeez. Typical Mythian. Completely ignores Meeks.
You know, Meeks
We're
all
awesome.
sound alike, right?
We did see
let's
him.
not get into that.
We did see him in the Citadel, Dom says. He says he was having a tough time with it.
Oh my god.
They were the only ones who saw him, right?
Yeah. He asked you guys to go check on Leslie, and then you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was you and the crew.
Yeah. And I broke Leslie out of the healing chambers and got her back to her family. Roland didn't seem quite himself.
Yes.
Is everybody present?
Yes. Give me a moment.
I know, I'm saying this because she said when everybody was present, send her a message, like when the last person got there, and then she would come.
Okay. All right. Then a message arrives with Juniper. Dom's going to say, I hope she gets here soon. Cleeby's going to wake up, he says, as he looks over in the corner.
Cleeby's here?
Not Cleeby. Walks, yes. Your voiceover was correct. Walks is going to wake up, he says, looking over in the corner, and there's like a little dog bed with like little Cleeby nesting in it. Or Cleeby, Jesus, what am I doing?
You
With
really
walks.
want Cleeby to be here.
Walks
I would
nesting in it.
That's so cute.
You hear a little.
Well, he'll have his dad here. I think he should be okay for a moment.
By the way, I got a little lucky in the marketplace, Dom says, clearly pleased with himself. I managed to score some rare pendulum tea. Now, every other time I've been able to find this tea outside of pendulum, I've had a little ceremony with myself. My dad taught me how to do it. I was hoping that you two might be able to join me for it, for good luck, he says.
Who is he talking to?
He's
us?
talking to Isaac and Euphemia and
Okay.
Bali as well. And Johnny clearly is ignoring him.
I don't think you could leave Juniper out of this.
He says, well, she's clearly a very busy woman here in Garen, and I didn't want to postpone, lest we not be able to do it at all.
She looks at Bolly.
Is he excluding Hero?
No, he does ask Hero, but Hero's already discussed him with other stuff
Oh.
that you don't know about in the background.
I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. He's going to kind of look over and like give like a wink to Hero. Hero's going to kind of like wink back at him like they had some kind of plan.
Yuffie's just gonna give a strange look between them.
So, as you guys are waiting, Roland is going to sulk into the room.
Oh no.
He looks significantly worse than when you last saw him.
I'm guessing that meeting didn't go well.
He's going to kind of like slump into his chair. He seems to kind of look at the table thoughtfully for a second, and then is going to kind of like sit up a little more determinedly. It really didn't, he says. But not the meeting with the kings. There was one after. With that, Juniper is going to arrive. Oh, hey, Roland's going to say.
What happened to you?
He's going to kind of gesture to your seat, like maybe you should sit down or something.
She does.
He's going to look back at the door. Other people probably shouldn't hear this.
Oh, she closed the door behind her. She actually will reach behind her, touch the wall, and you all will see a shimmer go around the room, ceiling and floor.
Words. Nice.
Roland is going to very dejectedly begin to explain that after his meeting with the kings, he was quote-unquote ambushed by Faylene leading the pack of Red, Opt, and Harper, who sat him down in Harper's house and told him about the extension of his own fate, that he apparently, his mood affects the people of Garen. And that really freaked him out, made him very nervous about his effect on the city. And he knows that right now he's feeling very bad, and he's feeling bad because he's feeling bad because that's making other people feel bad. So it's like compounding on itself.
Okay.
And man, I just wish Shadow was here, you know, he says, looking around.
Where is she?
Where is she?
He says, she's out in the city, like getting snacks and stuff. I sent her out before I went to the king's place. Told her to be all night, and she's probably back at the house. But
Why
I
don't you
got
send
your
a message
note.
to her?
He says, I could, but well, we got a meeting, and she doesn't really like those. So he kind of slumps down and sort of like lays his head down on the table dejectedly. Hero's gonna kind of like,
Euphemia's gonna awkwardly walk over and kind of just pat his shoulder a couple times and kind of look over at Juniper with this, what is happening look.
Normally, June would be all on top of that, but June looks a little distracted herself.
Why don't you tell us what happened exactly, Roland?
he's gonna say, he'll sort of reiterate in a meandering kind of way, like
You mean
saying
in a
she
rolling
and
sort of
he
way?
a lot rather than like the proper names of Faline, Red, and Harper. He says that I don't remember what Red actually said. I'm assuming some of the stuff he says. He basically describes them sitting him down and sort of laying it on, telling him about Harper apparently admitted that he and Coldmain used to be friends when, well, sort of friends. Coldmain was very wealthy and Harper was not. Coldmain sort of wanted to use Harper's natural talents as a swordsman to sort of like gain some vicarious fame. So he sponsored him in like tournaments and fighting rings in the city. Harper turned out to be extremely good. Coldmain got jealous, sort of drove Harper off. Harper had no financial funding, so he joined a gang in the city. Sort of led this cutthroat group. And it was kind of considered that he was going to sort of become a villain. Everyone kind of assumed by the wording of his fate that he would be a bad guy. But Coldmain, the family Valnor, fell in hard times, and Coldmain sort of came to Harper wanting to join the gang. And Harper denied him. And the two have had a bad relationship ever since. But Coldmain sort of reworked himself back into the nobility and eventually ascended even to the kingship.
So they were frenemies?
Yes.
Huh.
And then Roland killed him when Pitt took over his mind. He also revealed that Harper's sword is the family Valnor's blade. King Coldmain gifted it to him to try to buy his loyalty while he was on the throne. And it was expected that the gift of the sword would allow Harper to train Florian as steward. But he never did. Instead, he took Roland, which was seen as a giant slap in the face. And there was a huge political mountain that fell on Roland when he was young. But it was apparently all Harper's fault. Or at least mostly Harper's fault. But Harper told him that he made the right choice and that Roland was twice the man Florian would be. And that he has to make his own choice about what to do now.
Well, that's some shit, she says.
I feel like I'm in a river without a paddle, he says. I'm just going in circles. He's going to kind of look up pleadingly at Juniper.
I think you need to make this choice, Roland. As much as you're going to go in circles, none of us can make that for you. Not even Juniper.
Very lightly smiles when you say that. It's clear you took the words right out of her mouth, and she's happy she didn't have to say it.
Inspiration.
Oh.
He's going to kind of like slunk down.
I will say, I've met Florian now for myself, and I have to agree, you're twice the man he is, at least.
He's a piece of work, isn't he?
He's very pretty.
That's about all there is going for him.
When did you meet Florian? He says.
Oh. He was at Leslie's bedside.
He's gonna kind of like look over and then like he sort of gets like a weird look on his face and then it's just gonna kind of.
We took care of him. She holds on a second.
He's gonna kind of like wave you
She
off.
actually looks vaguely alarmed as she looks at you.
She blinks and corrects herself.
I'm not worried about that, he says.
How exactly did you take care of him, please?
We just bothered him until he ran away.
Okay.
Not anything maiming or lethal.
You see Hero's eyes just kind of going back and forth at the
Isaac-
drama around the table.
Isaac's sitting there like reading these letters Prongor's given him, and he just goes, "That's disappointing."
I feel like the mood is difficult here today.
Master, didn't we work with the Valnor family? He
Yes,
says.
we did. I
He
was never a
says.
fan of their son.
He goes, well, he was a mere boy. Prongor is like 25 years older than you are.
We need to discuss our next steps. Obviously, Roland, your decision matters a lot in this, but we need to talk about where we need to go with the prophecy. We've taken some time to pause here, but the quest goes on.
Yeah.
Well spoken. I do have a bit of a change. Zarathan will no longer be traveling with us. He was recalled to heaven.
What? Hero says, looking very hurt.
When you say he was recalled to heaven, that doesn't sound like it was a choice.
In a manner of speaking, it was not. Events occurred in heaven that have forced his return early. He has reascended.
I'm sorry.
Isaac, I think your knowledge from the clerical school would state that that is a both surprising outcome and should be seemingly impossible outcome.
Yeah. Okay.
You remember how hard,
It was for Cassian to
to ascend.
reascend. Yeah.
Right.
So, out of game then, is reascending like it's not a guaranteed thing or anything? Like it would be very difficult?
It probably won't even happen, and if it does, the angel like worked for a very long time to make it happen.
Is that common knowledge or no?
It is common in those who study the religious arts.
Yeah.
She'll have no idea.
I'm watching that very carefully. Isaac looks at you from over his papers and he goes, on such short notice. June, what the hell happened up there for them to call him back on just like that?
What do you mean short notice?
Is that uncommon?
Angels don't go back to, they don't return usually ever, and if they do, it's not after decades of searching and traveling, and no, that's not normal.
That was the plan, yes. She contemplates whether or not she should tell you guys this. Is this something that I should not share? She would know that.
It'd be much like discussing the politics of a distant kingdom. Most people, I mean, neither of these two seem to be like true believers in like Mazrian's divinity.
It's not like a strict taboo or anything, correct?
I think it'd be weird for most people to hear about heaven as like a politically complicated place that
Something
has like.
that's so relatable to ours. Yeah.
But it's not like against any sort of like rules or whatnot.
Yes, it would be unusual knowledge, but not any more than like knowing a secret of magic or something. like
Okay,
that.
cool. Yeah, she's the...
Not any more than your general existence, most likely.
Yeah.
Isaac-
Well, June has a lot of issues with revealing other people's secrets, and I was wondering if this is something that would be big enough to be considered one.
You don't think they, even with Isaac's knowledge, that he would know what the shadowing is?
Okay, and then she's probably not going to go into detail, but she will go into a little bit. She goes, the reason Rafe even... There were many personal reasons as to why Rafe decided to fall. We were not aware at the time that Mazrian was in difficulties. There are many... there's a
Isaac
lot of
stops you,
politics going on.
and he puts his papers down and he goes, I know you have difficulty discussing things like this. If it's too soon to talk about it, we can come back to it later.
Suffice it to say, Rafe will not be joining us for some time.
Damn, man. That sucks right now.
He'll be
I'm
missed.
sorry, he says.
Roland say that?
It will be worked through. It is fine.
Are you guys good? He asks.
Are we what?
Are you good? Like, your relationship is okay? Who said it was politics?
Zarathan and I have been together longer than you all can possibly imagine. Something this small will not cause a problem.
I just wanted to make sure he didn't leave because of something with you guys.
Absolutely not. No.
That's good.
No. Mazrian is stepping down from his role as the leader of heaven, and Zarathan will be taking it.
What?
Whoa.
Hero looks like he's actually... He looks kind of angry.
She quirks her head slightly to the side. Why?
I mean, can he even do that? I mean, I guess he can. Just...
May I insight him?
Yeah.
Are the teachings of Mazrian what most meek would follow? Like, would that be their
Like, is it held personally
theology?
to their...
You know that a lot of common folk hold Mazrian in, like, a divine state.
So it's a pretty predominant religion.
It's less of a religion like they sort of see him as like Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
12.
You say that Hero is mildly angrier and bitterer than he should be about it.
Again, it is not something that was... It is a necessity.
Is it a fate thing? Hero asks.
I don't think it is, right? Like, the shadowing has nothing to do with fate, does it? Or...
You don't think it is?
No. There is... It's very, very rare, but there is a condition that angels can have.
Like an illness, you mean?
Yes.
I didn't know they could get sick.
It's special. And like I said, very rare. Again, this is something that should not be discussed beyond this room, of course.
Jeez.
I'm sure that it will be known to the world soon.
I guess he's gonna be pretty busy for a while then.
Yes, I imagine so.
Your passive insight's very high, isn't it?
Passive insight?
Yeah.
Mine is
Yes.
Yours is?
18.
Yours is an 18?
Damn,
You double
18.
trained in it?
18, not 19.
Jesus.
Like under your skills? Kind of?
It's your insight plus 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, passive perception is what I was thinking of.
Oh, I was like,
Sorry,
why
sorry,
is
sorry.
why is your
Sorry.
insight so high?
Sorry.
I'm 19.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
you had a high one because
I
your
didn't know you
wisdom's
had a
high.
I was thinking perception. My apologies.
Isaac, you can clearly tell by the way that Hero seems to be like mulling over something.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly thinking about somebody else's reaction to this news.
Okay. So first Isaac says, you think they'll tell everybody about this change? They won't just keep up a facade that Mazrian is still holding the throne.
The shadowing can't be cured, so we know of, correct?
only one creature has it, so not a whole lot is known about it.
What do I think? Do I think that they would reveal that?
I just asked because you said the world. will
Probably
know.
not.
Oh, really?
At least not to the general population. It might get out eventually, regardless of their wishes.
Well, Heaven's been pretty open about, like...
Certain angels have been very open. Not Mazrian.
Well, I don't mean about him being sick. I mean there being a transfer in power.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about, not about the sickness. I don't think that'll ever get out.
probably. Yeah, they will almost surely tell if somebody changes.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was going to say. I was
leadership
like, she goes, I speak of the transfer of power, not of the illness. That will more likely than not never come out.
I see. Hero, what's bothering you so much about this? I don't think you were a follower of Mazrian, were you?
role. More persuasion.
I believe in you.
14. Better than last time's rolls.
You banish the bad die now.
Yes. Shoot back in the bed.
It's my mom.
Oh.
Is she a follower of Mazarin?
I mean, yeah, she is. Like, she's got a hand-drawn portrait of him over her sink, he says.
I would love to see what that actually turned out looking like. Sorry.
He's got like those like rays coming out from his head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she kept doves when she was young because she wanted to be blessed. You know, like the doves that are his halo?
Right.
I wouldn't even know how to tell her. Hero's gonna, or Roland's gonna like pat him heavily on the shoulder.
Mazrian was never meant to hold the role he holds.
Well,
June is just dropping like this big
And June's just not feeling
knowledge
it right
bombs
now.
Yeah,
on
really
us.
care
They're
right
just
now.
like, what?
Totally fair.
if somebody was going to take the role of leadership of heaven, I think Zarathen is a perfect candidate for it, Dom says.
June obviously agreed, considering she said go.
Well, now that we're down one good man, I think the question now is, Roland, are we going to be down another?
Are you really thinking about quitting the quest?
No. What? No, I just have to tell everybody else to fuck off.
That's one route you could take. My point is that we're not going to be in Garen forever. We need to start heading to the Sky Range, and time's running out. Are you going to burn all those bridges, or are you going to stay here and try and sort this out?
I don't even have a choice, right? Like, I gotta go.
It's a prophecy.
I have a question about a game. Can fate be reread? Like, can we try to induce a prophecy to see what would happen now?
No.
No, it's impossible?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Never mind, she wouldn't have asked that question then.
I think I guess we gotta stick around for the summit, and then we get the hell out of here.
All right. I'm behind you if that's what you want to do.
Perhaps your mood will be better when you have a goal in mind. And certainly, getting those pieces of the crown, it's a big goal.
Roland, have you ever considered that your role here in Garen might also be part of fate?
I don't know.
Our being together is important to a degree, but your role as steward is also important. Are you simply going to walk away?
I mean, Harper's never done a prophecy while staying in the city, he says. He always goes somewhere. They always need
Harper's
you to
never been
leave.
involved in a prophecy that's quite this long-lasting, though.
Yes, I just think maybe we're reaching with that.
It is your decision. I simply wish you to be aware of all the options and not simply reacting to your emotions.
Are you saying that any of us could potentially leave this quest at any time and that could be our role?
No, I'm saying that a slight detour for a short time wouldn't necessarily throw our goals away.
Well-
Especially if that detour still works towards the goals.
The people that are wanting me to stay here want me to stay here forever. They never want me to leave. So I don't think I'd satisfy anybody by just staying here a little bit. So I may as well not do it at all.
What do the kings think of this? What does Harper think?
The kings think that I should go. And so does Harper.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've already pretty much made up my mind. I just don't like it.
I will support your decision whichever route you go. I simply wish you to be informed.
Yeah, I mean, I want to help.
Then cheer up.
It's just a lot of heavy stuff.
That's not going to change, Roland.
We do have the sort of literal weight of the world on us.
Yeah, but it's not always my heavy stuff, he says with a little smile.
Well,
I should go see Pitt, man. Piercy.
why? We got nothing out of him. Nothing.
I guess I feel bad.
We got nothing out of him. Roland has a much more personal relationship with Piercy in Pitt than we do. Well, maybe not June, but
I mean, kind
the rest of us.
Like, not really sure if mind control's personal, but
I mean,
Yeah, she's just like splitting her eyes between the two people who got mind controlled, and she's like, well?
Euphemia says, it's personal. It's definitely personal. But I don't know if it means that you forge a personal connection with him.
I misspoke. I meant Roland has a longer history with Pitt than we do.
I guess I was hoping to talk with him about, you know, his whole situation.
I don't see it could hurt.
I don't know, I don't.
What do you...
Faylene didn't want me to do it. She thought that people would be watching me and they'd be like, oh, he's talking with terrorists. You gotta get him, use it as fodder to get Codan.
What do you hope to get out of the conversation with him?
I guess I want to, you know, see how his relationship is with his other.
Ah,
Do you want to go do it and not be seen? Because if so, I can help you.
I think I've got the hookup. There's a couple of paladins in the order that I trained with, and they said they'd help me if I wanted it. So I can get in if I need to. But thanks.
maybe you should take this time to talk to him. I don't know how many others there are with fates similar to yours. And from speaking with Harper, it is helpful having somebody who shares a similar fate to talk to.
Hey, you think that little gnome guy that we encountered in the forest was like me?
You think he has another?
10 bottle?
Yeah.
It's possible.
I don't know, I got like a feeling.
What do you mean you got a feeling? I just thought he was a weirdo.
I'm trying to sort out meta knowledge versus player knowledge right now. I can't remember. I'm having some serious cross memories here.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a special feeling or anything, just like, I don't know, I just wondered.
I don't know if you all were aware, but the Outrunner has been completely repaired and updated. It's ready.
Polly's going to kind of give you like a meaningful look.
We need to go get it. And by we, she looks at Bali. I mean the crew. I think that perhaps we need to take care of that shard of the crown.
Are you sure you're willing to separate?
We all have to make sacrifices.
If that's the case, there's the teleportation circle that's in the Doom Ridge that we could probably have access to. You could get that way. Or if you would prefer.
Is there one from here to Bridgewalk?
Unfortunately, no. When Pitt attacked, I was forced to cut off my connections. However,
Shit.
I can get you to Pendulum.
I took the liberty of speaking with some of the court wizards, Dom says. It appears as though they have set up a link between Giron's royal court and Bridgewalk's adamantine fortress because of the summit.
Ah, that would be
So,
helpful.
the kings have offered to allow us to teleport directly into Bridgewalk.
That would be very helpful.
Is it because Bridgewalk is close to the Sky Range?
No, they're going to back to get the ship.
Oh, the crew would go to Bridgewalk to.
Well,
okay, I
we
gotcha.
would just probably teleport directly to
The Dune Ridge.
The Dune
Dune
Ridge.
Ridge. Okay, gotcha.
From there, it all depends on where we'd like to meet up.
Isaac cuts you off and goes, would they be interested in stopping by Whaletail Island on the way back?
I was hoping that it would still be there.
If it's still there. What do you think? And he looks and he asks Dom and the crew.
I don't know if it's still there, but I've been giving it a lot of thought.
Well,
if
it
we
is-
see it, we'll definitely, at least give it a look with a spyglass. I don't like all those big whales, though, she says. But she looks at Dom and Dom sort of gives her like a definitive nod. We'll definitely stop if we see it.
I've some business to take care of as well in, oh my god, out of game. What's the name of the place where Osire lives?
Rogueshaven.
In Rogueshaven as well. It doesn't have to happen right this moment. The crown obviously has to take precedence, but I do need to take care of it afterwards.
If you require aid, I will offer it.
Where's Rogueshaven?
Rogueshaven is off the coast of the Halfling Hills.
It's south on the coast. Like on the coast, we went west of Giron and then south along the coast.
Okay.
So kind of.
Doesn't it move?
No.
Oh, okay, different thing.
Man, I want a place that moves like that.
It's not a
Cool.
flotilla?
No.
Oh, okay.
Rogueshaven is a
Is
tower.
there one?
There is a flotilla.
Flotilla's ruled by his daughter.
Okay, but that one does move, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a collection
I
of boats and
yes.
like wood beams and.
Yes, but I knew there existed one. I just couldn't remember which one was. Okay.
Yeah, Rogueshaven is like a pirate mage school, sort of like / war tower.
It's the only bigger mage school that's not run by me.
Ooh, grudge match.
Nah, she's fine with it.
I think your help would be much appreciated. It's a difficult place to penetrate. And I need to have a talk.
Her eyebrows actually raise when you say penetrate. I thought we were visiting, but okay. She goes, perhaps a little more details would be necessary on this.
I promise I'll provide them.
Indeed. So, yes,
Weren't you getting some adventurers together, Isaac? What was that about again?
I found a collection of good candidates, with much help from your friend.
good.
I was having a hard time there myself. I'm attracting a bit too much attention walking amongst the streets myself.
I'm sorry?
Bounty hunters, it's nothing. But
Bounty hunters are attacking you on the streets of Garen? And you say that's nothing?
a small group of rookies tried to take me alive. It didn't work out for them. A minor inconvenience.
Perhaps don't wander about by yourself for now.
Well, going forward, I'll be having people going and running errands in my place. As much as I was enjoying stretching my legs about the city, I don't think it's a smart thing to do anymore, so. But I did visit the Quester's Chest, and I found some good people. So.
Good.
What all needs taken care of at this point? Obviously, Whaletail Island should go to Dom, but
Whaletail Island is in good hands, assuming it's still there.
I hope
Otherwise, I was hoping to send Annalise to the Emerald Lake, and then us to the Sky Range.
I know the Sky Range is... There's some urgency there.
Yes, urgency is an understatement. I don't know if I planned for any others. Let me check.
It would be a little closer if they teleported with us, right? Or would it be closer from the bridge walk
To what?
to the Emerald Lake?
It would definitely be closer from Bridgewalk because you wouldn't have to cross the Sky Range.
That's fair. But they're flying anyway.
The Sky Range is very tall.
I mean, there are canyons.
Yeah, with spiders in them.
Well, when you put it that way.
That's fair.
Spider
Okay.
canyons, that sounds like...
All right, yes. She goes, you're wanting to send Annalise to the Emerald Lake?
It's
She's looking at you like, explain.
nothing but research. I mean, have you heard what happened to it?
Yes. It became actual emerald, correct?
It did. And I think she's someone who's up to the task of digging into why it happened and what its implications are. No danger involved, just
That would
analysis. Yeah.
Did you say Clover was here with us right now?
Yeah.
She looks over at Clover. Clover, perhaps you could go with Anna.
You're going to hear the whisper of wind as the donkey completely agrees. They would like to get out of this claustrophobic city anyway.
She looks here and says, I will send to Annalise. She will join us here briefly. I think that would probably be wise.
And then this one might be a more difficult sell, but the issue of the undead from Vars is still ongoing. I was hoping to send Potjack and Leslie.
Leslie will still need a little time to recover, but...
Yeah, so I think we might have
She's
to wait
just
on that one.
picturing Potjack and Leslie traveling together, and she's just... It's an amusing thought. What does Roland say to that?
He's going to just
Considering
kind of
he
like...
heard Roland's story, he heard Potjack's stories.
Oh, yeah. Well, not only those two, there would be others as well, but they would be the key players in making sure that comes out successfully.
How much does Potjack want for any of this?
You don't want to know.
Oh, but I do.
But I have the gold.
I mean, Leslie would probably be thrilled to go on a big quest like that, he says. I'm not sure she'd like to go with Potjack, but...
He grows on you like some sort of smelly fungus.
Like a wart, Hero says.
Mia gives him a smile.
I was just going to rattle off a few more, the Cerulean Buckler, a couple other heroes that would be accompanying them to kind of balance out the party. But
Out of game, who was informed that there were increased merfolk attacks on the coast? Or was that the undead thing?
I think that was
No,
you.
that was a separate thing, and that
I
was...
can't keep track of
that
all the
was
different things
Freya?
coming out
Yeah,
of
Freya
the-
told you.
Where was
privately.
it again?
Pretty much everywhere.
Pretty much everywhere. Okay.
increased merfolk attacks everywhere? Oh, man.
Yeah, you throw me, I will mention it. I have gotten...
But she also said that the coastal defenses were handling it fairly decently. There had been nowhere where they had like broken through and ravaged the village or anything like that.
Was any place particularly hard hit that she'd mentioned to her? Like an area where it seemed like it was focused on.
The Isle of Bone.
Yeah,
They gathered to attack the Isle
other
of Bone.
than that,
It looks like that's going to be the first place that they make a major assault.
Euphemia will mention, I have intelligence that's indicated that there's been a pretty dramatic increase in merfolk attacks all along the coasts.
Isaac's looking at his notes and he goes, and he has to like flip his page over and he starts adding that to the other side of things to worry about.
Do I have anything? Have I gotten any updates on things like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, plenty.
No, like anything that needs to be mentioned.
So Annalise has clearly been like funneling stuff to the godmothers and away from you all.
Gotcha.
Clearly trying to like sort you guys towards the quest.
Gotcha. So she's been kind of,
Taking care of business on the side.
what's the word I'm looking for? Delegating properly for me. Okay.
Yes.
When does the summit happen?
Tomorrow. Like later in the day.
Okay.
I intend, considering my message went to them right before the summit was called, I intend to visit the kings today to request permission to look for your sword. I have discovered a little bit about it. It currently does have an owner.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
How did you discover? I don't think I want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know your methods.
Neither do I.
I'm not saying something coming.
But I guess we have something to look forward to when we descend into that crypt of whatever it is.
I kind of want to know. Hero says.
I'll tell you later.
Oh, that bad.
June doesn't quite want to admit that she was so rash to you guys right now.
Will we be retrieving that before or after the summit? I know you were asking tonight.
I wanted permission before. I think we should probably leave it for after. I would prefer to not dredge up too much trouble before the kings arrive.
As our heroes discuss the woes of the world and decide how best to approach them, we will go ahead and call the session there for the time being, noble heroes. Please give us a like and subscribe if you enjoyed our content, and do try this at home.